What if the heritage that you had known your entire life and where you were born was actually completely different than what you were told? I want to talk to you today about how my heritage shaped me. And that experience actually happened to me this year. So I want to share with you my two main points. One is growing up French in America, share with you a little bit about what that was like and how that shaped me, and then learning about my Syrian heritage and how that shaped me as well. So, for my first point, growing up French in America, it basically, when you have parents who speak a different language than all of your friends, you know right away that your family's a little bit different. I grew up for the first 2.5 years in Montpellier, France, and so French was my first language. And culturally, we would celebrate Bastille Day. We also celebrated lots of French meals together, and everyone my parents would invite to the house, whether it was from church or school, would be basically treated to a huge, like, 3 course or 4 course or whatever it was French meal. So, growing up, I knew there was a lot of cultural differences. How that shaped me is that, one, it helped me to look at people with more respect. One of the things that I remember seeing when I was little or hearing is people getting frustrated with my dad. He had a very thick accent. And, I would hear people treat him rudely. And that really, made me mad. I believe that every person should be treated with respect, and we should all treat each other with respect. So that's part of, I believe, what shaped my strong feelings on civil rights and justice for all people. Um, there's a lot of benefits and there's some funny things about growing up with a completely different culture. One funny thing that I thought was my mom and dad could always talk to each other and nobody around them would know what they were saying, except us, of course. And, they would say funny things to each other or poke fun at each other or at a person who was giving them a hard time. So that was really hilarious. The other aspect, and this is kind of hindsight, knowing two languages, growing up with two languages really, I think, made me a better student and helped me to understand language better. So a lot of this is how basically growing up French in America shaped me. Now that we've talked about growing up French in America, I want to share with you my second major point, which is learning about my Syrian heritage. This was a really important period in my life this last year, finding out about my Syrian heritage. It just has deepened, I think, my cultural awareness and curiosity for deeper understanding of Middle Eastern policy. I have been following it, but as not Syria specifically. So I was actually born in Aleppo, Syria, is what I found out. The reason why I didn't know until now is because my dad experienced enough discrimination from both sides because of his progressive political views, I believe. He didn't feel accepted in his homeland, and he certainly didn't feel accepted. He even experienced a lot of discrimination in France as well. So, yeah, he doesn't even know that I know. So that's how that is right now. How this shaped me as well, knowing the truth adds to me as a person. It helps me to understand things about my dad that, I didn't know before. It's very hard hiding something for so many years, and that takes an effect on a person. Also, just kind of knowing the energy of a place, like knowing that I was born in a completely different area, Middle East versus Europe, was life changing, and I'm very proud of being from Aleppo, and I'm curious to learn more. So, in conclusion, mainly I learned a lot from growing up French in America, and that is one aspect of me. I did live in France for 2.5 years when I was little. And they're very formative years. My second main point is learning about my Syrian heritage and how that shaped me as well. Both of these, as I mentioned in growing up French, it really helped me to see how you can be really treated with disrespect if you're an immigrant, and how wrong I believe that is. How I feel every person should be treated with respect and, without exception. So that is, I think that's really concludes, and basically if you found out that you were born in a completely different place, what happened for me, and just to tie it all together, was that it made me full of curiosity and wonderful wonder. It was happy surprises, especially learning about a culture that is in the midst of such tumultuous times. I've had a lot of friends from different parts of the world, like Kenya or Liberia, and heard about firsthand the pain and agony of seeing your country go to war, and now I'm experiencing it. So um, just, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that helped you learn a little bit more about what shaped me.